they don't realize that productivity is not about working more hours. It's about what you put in the hours. So, and what's crazy is part of the book talks about you can't get to 7 figures doing more of what got you 6 figures.
Recording remote interviews for your podcast has never been easier with Podcastle. Share your link with up to 9 different guests, and they can immediately start recording using their own computers with no additional equipment or downloads required. With each guest on their own locally recorded studio quality track, editing is a breeze too. You can split, trim, fade, and arrange each track to your heart's content. Then use Podcastle's AI-powered Magic Dust tool to automatically sweeten and equalize the mix. You can invite, record, edit, and polish. It's all in a day's work with Podcastle. Start recording your podcast for free at podcastwiththink.com.
What is up? Sean Cannell here, and let me ask you a question. Are you ready to double the results you're getting on YouTube and in your online business? I know that's a crazy, almost sensational claim, but the truth is, when you apply the right principles and levers to your YouTube channel, to your business, to your activities, everything can change. I know it because it personally happened to me with the content that you're going to be learning in this episode. And today we have a guest, and his name is Peter Voogd, and he's been on a couple Think Media podcast episodes. In fact, if you've loved having Peter on and you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment if you've been getting value out of any of these. If you haven't reviewed the podcast, that would mean the world to me. Whether it's this episode or others, you've been getting value. Today's the day, friend. You're like, man, I've been listening. I've heard Heather say, review the podcast. I've heard Sean say it. Today's the day. Let us know what you think on Apple Podcasts. But if you're just meeting Peter, he's been recognized by entrepreneur.com as the world's leading authority for millennials and entrepreneurs. He wrote a book called 6 Months to 6 Figures, and it sold over 500,000 copies, which is just crazy. And his new book, 7 Rules to 7 Figures, has been crushing it. Its subtitle is The Entrepreneur's Playbook to Freedom, Family, and Fortune. And my favorite F in there actually is the family F that he had there. Beyond the different things Peter's built, he's built up 7 figures in real estate, direct selling, in education, and a lot of different industries. But he's done it by having family as one of his highest values. We share a similar value that we want to experience success without losing our soul, with values intact, with family intact, with faith intact. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Think Media Podcast. We have Peter Voogd back on the show, and I'm super excited about this episode because we're going to be talking about how to double your YouTube and online business growth guaranteed. Now, before you jump off, you might say, how can you possibly guarantee that? But the truth is, it's possible. And if you're ready to actually double your results and make sure that you're spending your time on the right things, Peter's going to be sharing some powerful principles that will boost your views, boost subscribers, boost sales, boost revenue if you apply them. And it's all about profit maximizers and the 80-20 rule. And so, Peter, let's dive into it. But, you know, some people, the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, is maybe something that not everyone's familiar with. So let's start there. What is that?
So it is the principle that the majority of things that you do actually don't move the needle in your life and business. And they've done countless studies, like years and years of studies and science. And I've seen it true for my business, where if there's 10 activities you're doing, 2 of those activities yield results more than 80% over the other 8 activities. So I'm always 80-20 and sometimes 90-10ing things, where if I have 10 things I'm doing, usually 1 or 2 yield higher results than all the other ones. So the goal is figuring out what the 80-20 is in your business and what's actually moving the needle and getting results. It even goes in every area of life. Like usually the amount of people that you connect with, there's like 20% of the people you talk to are causing 80% of your unhappiness and frustration and toxicity. So it goes from people, business, success, finances, wealth, action steps, results, YouTube. It's never been proven wrong. So that's why it's so important.
Yeah, I mean, I think I heard it said, like in a city, 20% of the traffic or 80% of the traffic drives on 20% of the roads, which makes sense because that's all the traffic's on those main highways. And then there's the back streets and no one's on those streets. And so you define it here, the 80-20 rule is 20% of all your activities account for 80% of your income. So if you apply just that, that means that actually there's a lot of things you need to stop doing. And if you identify the things that are winning in your life, your business, your YouTube channel, double down on those, you're going to start getting more leverage. Now, I want to talk about profit maximizers in just a second, but I like how you define productivity here. I haven't read anything like this anywhere before, but you redefine productivity. And so here's how you define productivity: getting the result that you want. Peter, I think some people think that productivity maybe isn't even about results, it's about busyness. Have you seen that?
Oh, for sure. I think a lot of businesses hide behind the mask of like busyness and doing things more time that takes more time and spending all their time working, and they don't realize that productivity is not about working more hours. It's about what you put in the hours. So, and what's crazy is part of the book talks about you can't get to 7 figures doing more of what got you 6 figures. So sometimes if you want to double your subscribers, you can't just do more of what got you your other subscribers. It's a different way of thinking and a different mentality. So it's really just understanding productivity is about getting the result you want. And I'll tell you, Sean, I work less hours now than I was making 6 figures. It's not about the hours you work. And people are so obsessed with activity. Like Henry Thoreau says, it's like, you're busy, but so are the ants. The question is, busy doing what?
Yeah.
And now that I have kids, I have 2 under 2, I can't be busy being busy because I'm killing my family time. So now I take it personal where it's like, if I'm busy being busy, my family suffers. So instead of working all the time, I told myself, I will be disciplined instead of working all the time. That's productivity.
Man, that's so powerful. And one of the biggest concepts that I want to get into is, this idea of IPAs, income producing activities. You call them profit maximizers, having a results ritual. And, one of the things that actually really shifted my life, especially over the last couple of years, was listening to your mixtapes. So I listen to them on Spotify. You've got, these motivational and even just tactical. And I would hear you, maybe I listened to this track a couple times and you would always say, like, are you focusing on your IPAs? Not the beer, right? It's not the Indian Pale Ale, but on your income producing activities. And that just started to shift my thinking to evaluate myself to say, am I getting up and just spending extra long editing a video a couple years ago, or just researching by looking at swiping on Instagram when I don't need to research more, studying the competition when really I'm just avoiding the hard work I need to do? Or am I actually doing the things that move the needle? Furthermore, am I doing something that moves the needle to earn a few dollars through affiliate marketing? Or am I doing the hard work of creating a book or creating a course that can, instead of making 4% from Amazon affiliate marketing, I can make 98% in an online course that I create, that I own? Harder decisions that actually produce income. And Peter, that affected us so profoundly here at Think Media that actually on our team meetings now in Slack, we have meetings 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where we get on Zoom. But every single day at 9 a.m. or about 8:45, myself or Heather or Mel, we post the question, hey, good morning, Think Team, post your IPAs. Every single day, your IPA. And that doesn't mean what do you have, because there's other things you have to do. Yep. Some things you have to do just for maintenance to keep things going.
But those should be delegated.
If that's, let's get into that. Yeah. But IPAs would be like, what are we actually doing that's producing income? And if it's not, then why are we even doing it? Yep. Because, and you have to be unashamed about this in business, right? Because cash flow is oxygen to a business. Mm-hmm. You need money for the mission. So are you doing things that actually generate results? On YouTube, am I actually making the right video? 2 of your 10 videos are actually, you could probably know ahead of, you do YouTube videos long enough, you know which ones are actually going to do well. Why are you even making the other 8? Mm-hmm. Focus on the topics that actually produce the biggest results. And so this is profit maximizers. I want you to expound on this, but you said this powerful sentence: the amount of stress you have in your life is in direct correlation to the lack of results and systems you have in place.
Yep. I mean, first of all, avoidance is addictive. So I study entrepreneur businesses. We have an academy where I help people's businesses, and me and my business partner are always diving in and trying to figure out what the difference is between these businesses thriving and the ones struggling. And almost always, it's never who works more hours, which is weird. It's always the people who are doing the most that are avoiding the hard things that actually get them results. Usually, if you have 40 hours of work or 50 hours of work to do, the work that you're avoiding or that you don't feel like doing is usually the one that moves the needle that we have to attack first, and almost do that first when you have the most willpower in the morning. So I did the same thing with my team, Sean, where I had them always give me what's their most important moving the needle activities, no edits, that actually get them results. And the reality is they didn't usually do those things. So I think that's the important is shift from complexity to simplicity. There's 10 or 20% of things that get you the biggest results. And your job as a CEO or an entrepreneur is to figure out what those are. And once you figure those out, you almost have an unfair advantage in business. So that's why I brought that up is people that don't have systems in place or don't have result-focused activities, they're always just churning their wheels, and eventually they get burnt out and they start resenting things they're good at and they eventually quit. That's why this is so powerful. So it's like there's many ways to figure it out. You can look back in the last year of your business. Where did most of your customers come from?
Yeah.
Right? You can focus on one of the biggest profit producers is understanding marketing is the game where there's producing, there's creating, then there's marketing of the doing. So a lot of people spend 80, 90% on producing of the actual doing. They're like, oh, I got a course. It's the best course. I got this, I got the title, I got the cover, the course, all the materials. They're focused on the actual thing. They don't focus on the marketing of the thing. So they'll have a perfect course that has no customers. So I would recommend spending 80 or 90% of your time on the marketing of the doing, marketing of the course.
Yeah.
That's one of your top profit maximizers because when you have marketing, more people know about your product, they buy.
Yep.
So I see people nowadays, there's some even people that I know that are in the academy that I've helped, they create like so many videos. They do 2 videos a week. One has 1 view, one has 3 views, one has 6 views. It's like, dude, push that. Don't just keep producing without marketing the production of what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's an 80-20 thing. So it's just understanding what moves the needle, what gets results in your industry, and then going all in on that. And then another thing I talk about too is growth activities versus maintenance activities. Whereas as a CEO or as someone that is the visionary of the company or you're starting out, even if you're a little bit newer, you shouldn't be doing too much of the maintenance of the things that have to happen every week regardless. You should be focused on the growth activities that push the business forward, the results activities, and everything else should be delegated and handled and systemized. So I feel like a lot of people still try and do everything themselves, and that's going to kill their productivity. Imagine if you did every single thing in your business.
Sure.
You'd be overwhelmed and you wouldn't be at your best in anything.
Sure.
That's what people are doing.
And if you're not growing, you are dying.
100%.
Because if you're not on offense taking ground, you'd be losing ground. And so you have to be disciplined and diligent to delegate those things. So
Duplicate yourself.
Here's some ideas on some profit producing activities. And this is what I've learned. It's funny you bring up that we're sometimes afraid of doing the harder things. You know, of course, we're here to help you build your YouTube channel, which is a good investment of your time because it's the marketing. It gives you eventually like dig your well before you're thirsty, raving fans, a fan base, a channel for all your future, whatever it is. You want to market your services, your book, a course, one-on-one. We have so many real estate agents. You want more clients. You want more leads. So your YouTube channel could be that. However, if you're doing free organic content, you also know it's going to take time. So sometimes there's the hard things you need to do today to actually keep income flowing while you're potentially digging your well for tomorrow, which could be your YouTube channel. And in our Inner Circle program, I was talking to somebody and they were kind of struggling on their channel. It just wasn't growing that fast or leading to clients yet. And I said, okay, fair enough. But I said, how many clients do you need a month? And he goes, well, I need about 2. I need 2 clients a month. And I was like, 2 clients a month?
It's like 10, 15 phone calls.
Yeah, I was like, well, how about you just get on the phone? Like, just get somebody, put a story on your Instagram. We'll only have a couple hundred Instagram followers. That's enough. Just say, hey, would you like to work together? Click yes or no or whatever in the survey there, or tap into your LinkedIn audience.
But that's harder. That takes rejection. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's why they don't do it.
That's right. And he was like, shoot. He was like, I kind of like shooting these videos and editing these videos and just lobbing them out there and hoping something happens. That's good too, but you need to do your IPAs first.
Yep.
Because once you're paid, now you have more fuel leverage to keep going. And so here's some ideas here you give. Making sales calls.
Yeah.
getting on the phone, inviting someone to be on the phone, DMing somebody not in a spammy way, but really working with, tap into LinkedIn or Instagram or somewhere else, talking to your salespeople, writing and creating content, reaching out to companies or developing partnerships. That's huge, right? They're creating the course. If they built some relationships with a couple JVs, joint venture partners, already you could lead to tons of sales, but you're just sitting there waiting for people to come to you. They're probably never going to come to you. Making appointments or even going door to door when necessary. Well, that's scary. Sending emails to your contact list. Peter, I can't tell you how many times we actually have so many success students. They get their YouTube channel going. They create something really valuable. They're giving it away. Their email list is growing. We then say, how often do you email them? I don't. I just got so much to do. I haven't emailed. We're like, well, what's the point of the list? You know,
and that's probably one of their highest value activities is emailing them.
Because those are the people who've actually gone to that level of depth to trust you with their contact information, to join you there, who have also, your free gift has polarized that audience. You know exactly why they signed up because they want more information about that. And you could be emailing them.
But here's the lesson. This is a great point. You don't have to be emailing them. You can hire a copywriter. One of the biggest breakthroughs I had from 6 to 7 figures is when I think about something I have to do, it's like, who can I hire? Or who can do this? That this is their expertise. They love this, and it's not my strength. Versus like, what stops a lot of people, Sean, is they don't think they're good at that. So if you want to get to the 7-figure mark, even the 6-figure mark, you have to start thinking in terms of hiring and training and developing people versus you doing everything. You should only be doing your 5% genius. And whatever you do the best with the least amount of effort is your gift. If you can work in your gift, life is so much more enjoyable and you grow exponentially. That's when you start doubling and tripling your subscribers, your sales, your success.
IPAs, man. A couple others, creating persuasive copy, working on your delivery to sell more from stage. That could also be working on or practicing your delivery of a web class or something you're doing. Creating your marketing messaging. Messaging in general, you teach a lot on that. Like just if you dial in your messaging so that it cuts through the noise, your branding and positioning. You can check out the episode we did with Peter on that. Definitely check out the show notes. And creating a referral system for your business. Sheesh, that's its whole own thing. You start getting referrals activated. So the big idea of today's episode are, what are your IPAs? What are the profit maximizers in your business? What are the top performing videos, top performing social media pieces of content? If you haven't been studying your data, Instagram shows us in our insights. It tells you what your top posts are. You want to double down and constantly be, I like that you said it. It's not just the 80-20 rule once, it's then the 80-20 of the 80-20 of the 80-20. That's a lifestyle of continuous optimization to the highest performing products, highest performing email subject lines, highest performing YouTube videos. And so what are your IPAs? Wherever if you're on YouTube, definitely drop us a comment of what you would say today. What is your biggest income generating activity that you could double down on? And if you have been listening to any of these episodes with Peter, we've had him on the podcast a couple times now, talking about some content from his new book, 7 Rules to 7 Figures. We'd love it if you would leave a review on Apple podcasts and let us know if you're getting value out of the Think Media podcast, and even maybe one of the game-changing, mindset-shifting insights that you've taken out of this series. But income-producing activities, man. Focus on what moves the needle. Peter, where can people get the book, and how can people connect with you?
Thank you so much. 7rulesbook.com. I'm all over social media, Instagram, YouTube. They can follow me there. And if they hear about me from this interview, definitely reach out, and I'll be happy to help in any way I can. We also dive into my favorite 6 or 7 profit maximizers and like actual productivity profit, I guess, value adds that you can do to add value to your customers and clients. So I think that's one of my favorite parts of the book too, if they check it out, is like those actual tactics of what they can do to become more valuable, not just make more money, but understand how to 80-20 everything they do. It's just, now that I have kids, man, my time is everything. So being able to produce more, have a better business, more fulfillment, happier, more exciting life, and work less, it's just like, it almost feels like I've hacked the system, but it's just from this chapter.
Man, I love it. Thank you so much, Peter, for coming on again and adding so much value. Check out the book. Check out Peter's channels, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Think Media Podcast. Okay, before you do anything, I want you to kind of sit down, maybe pull your car over, tell Fufu to sit if you're walking your dog, open up the Notes app on your phone, and let's actually put some of these tactics into practice. What are the 20% of videos on your YouTube channel that are getting 80% of the views, that are generating 80% of the subscribers? What are those videos? What are the topics about? What are the titles? What are the commonalities between their thumbnails, between the aspects of those videos that you can double down on? The truth is, you're going to make 10 new YouTube videos over the next 10 weeks, aren't you? Now, wouldn't it be powerful if instead of just making 10 videos and 8 of them do okay, if you really focus in on the ones that are driving results? Now, even more important, what is actually coming into your bank account this month? Where does the money come from in your business? Maybe you're just starting, so maybe it's still a paycheck or a W-2, but where is, even if it's a trickle, even if it's just some money from affiliate marketing or it's some money from brand deals or whatever it is, identify the 20% and stop focusing on the 80% and double down. I hope you got value out of this episode. And I recommend, if you want, even more levers like this, Peter is so obsessed. This is why we vibe. This is why we jive, is because we love optimizing things. We want to work on things that move the needle. We want to say, hey, if I only got 8 hours in a day, how can I use those 8 hours the most strategically? And inside of his new book, you'll be able to get tons of tactics and tools to help you do that. For the cost of a book, $15 or $8 for the ebook or whatever, it's really a no-brainer. And so definitely recommend you check that out. We'll link that up in the show notes below, which brings us to the comment of the week. And hey, thank you so much for leaving reviews. It does help get the word out about the podcast. If you ever have it in your heart, man, I love this podcast. It adds a lot of value to my life. Think about who you could share this with, but also consider leaving a review. And this one comes from Baxter Vision, and he says, has it all. I appreciate that. Fun and inspirational content that speaks to mind, body, and soul for both your business and your personal lifestyle goals. So yeah, it basically has it all. Man, I appreciate that. And that is our goal here. We hope that you learn something every week. We hope that you get some motivation and some inspiration. Like this is like a cup of coffee for your online business and your YouTube goals every week. And yes, we also hope that you feel this in your soul. Our vision is to help 10,000 purpose-driven people create a full-time living doing what they love while making a difference in the world with online video and experience that success without losing their soul. I really believe that if I build the biggest business or the biggest YouTube channel, but I blow up my marriage in the process, that I've failed. That if at the end of my life, I've built accolades and I've got a big bank account, but all the relationships around me are destroyed, and that the people closest to me don't love and respect me, then I believe I've failed. And I actually believe that if I get applause from the crowds, but I don't have that love and respect for my children, man, to me, that would mean that I missed it and I didn't have my priorities straight. And so we also don't go to the extreme of thinking that wealth or building a business or that success is something to be avoided. It's just something that should never be at the cost of the things that matter most in life. And so, hey, we hope that you keep getting fuel for going after your goals, but for also keeping your values and your priorities in alignment. I'm so grateful that you would actually spend some of your week listening to the Think Media podcast. And I just want you to know I appreciate you. I respect you. The fact that you'd invest in something like this, in personal development and personal growth, in leveling up and learning when you could just be watching Squid Game, which is also remarkable and very a little violent though. I don't know but sure enough, a very compelling show. And you had to know what all the buzz was about. And so when you could be just binging the latest Netflix show, but instead you're working on your future, your business plan, your goals, your YouTube channel, I just want you to know I respect that. And I'm grateful for you. Now's the time to go get it. Now's the time to take action. Don't stop the episode now and just see, oh, cool, my brain was tickled. It's time to actually put some calendar blocks on your calendar, shoot that next video, press record, take some action, and really move the needle. Because, friend, together, we're going to be in the future with businesses that are making a difference. But it's on the other side of taking massive action. I can't wait to see you in the next episode of the Think Media Podcast. And until then, take care, and we'll talk soon.
Did you hear that Grow with Video Live 2022 is back in person? This is your opportunity to network with like-minded people just like you, to make friendships, to make business partnerships. This is your opportunity to get in the room. You can get your ticket now at growwithvideolive.com. They're going so fast, so make sure you get your ticket right now at growwithvideolive.com.